What's up, everybody? Episode 28. How'd you guys like that interview with Matt? So sorry that I fucking somehow posted it without any sound at all. Had no idea until my brother hit me up and was like, hey man, I think my phone's not working, but there's no volume. And then I checked on my phone and I was like, son of a bitch. It takes so long to upload this shit because my computer's kind of old. It takes like an hour to export it. So I had to wait until I got home. Had to redo all the editing, everything, and then replace the videos, but we got it done. Also, I noticed, and I'm not going to fix it because I'm over it. The second video episode, somehow the sound came off of the video, so it's like it's all messed up. And nobody said anything about it. I went back and looked at it because I was going to steal a clip and post it onto like TikTok or something. And I noticed that the sound was off. So I'm going to try really hard not to fuck up again because I've been fucking up the videos. The first one went perfectly fine, super smooth. The last two fucking sucked. But welcome to number 28 of Cockles of the Heart. So, it's actually only Tuesday. I'm doing this like 3 days early. It's because I somehow am super hyper after work, so I thought it'd be a great time to shoot an episode. So really, really, really exciting news. Mom and Dad are visiting this weekend. They're coming in on Friday, leaving on Monday. And we're going to go to the Tennessee State Fair in Lebanon. So that'll be super fun. If I had tons of followers, I would never ever tell you guys where I was going on a certain day or time. But since I don't have that many, I feel like it's pretty safe. Most of you live nowhere even close to Tennessee at all, so whatever. You can't find me, stalkers. So let me fix the gain. I don't know why the gain always gets so fucked up on here. Okay, there we go. Sorry if I just fucking blew your eardrums out for you headphone listeners, but the most exciting part about Mom and Dad visiting is that they have both agreed to do individual guest spots for the podcast. So I'll get 2 episodes, one with each of them, for the podcast, and it hopefully should be pretty fun. So I know my mom's down for it. She says my dad is, which that doesn't mean shit. He could just suddenly decide he doesn't want to and not do it. But I think he'll do it. And I'm gonna give him a little bit of wine, so it'll lubricate the conversation. And I'm gonna try to ask him some questions. Nothing too embarrassing. Nothing to, nothing that he's gonna get mad about. Hopefully. But just questions that I literally don't know anything about. And I'm also going to ask funny questions. Like one of the questions I'm going to ask my mom is, what was your favorite weapon to beat us with when you were mad at us? Which my little angelic mom is just going to be like, none of them. I guarantee you she's going to go, none of them. I hated spanking you. I never loved doing that ever. It was terrible. But, I know how we were. She raised 5 fucking kids. I knew that sometimes it felt good to beat the fuck out of us, because I know if it was me in that position, for some of the shit that I've done, I would definitely beat the fuck out of me. So not like child abuse, but like good old fashioned 90s spankings with wooden spoons and shit like that. So I'm really excited about that. I don't think I'm going to be able to, so I'm not going to promise it, but if I can, I'm going to try to do individual interviews, and then I'm going to do a combined one with both of them. But we'll see. That's 3 podcasts in a weekend. They're not going to want to sit around on this shitty futon in my cat's bedroom. But we'll try it out. Oh, I also need to clean the fuck out of this bedroom because my dad is deathly allergic to cats. And the fat cat sits in here all day and all night, like it's like she's some teenage girl that hates her parents, and she just hangs out in here all the time. So this room definitely, there's like fucking cat hair everywhere. So I'm gonna have to clean this fucking place. Fuck, I didn't even think of that. But should be super duper exciting. I'm really excited to interview him. I was supposed to do it during my cousin's wedding a while ago, but I ended up just getting fucked up the whole time, so I had no time or business doing the podcast. And this time we have a camera, so it'll be way better. You guys can see what my beautiful parents look like. So super exciting stuff. I only wrote a couple things in the old notebook today, actually. I don't even remember what they were, so we'll look at them, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to read them or not. So, where is it? I'm so disorganized in this thing. I was going to tell my Thunderbird it just says Thunderbird Motel story. So I don't remember if I told this story or not, but I'm going to tell it anyway because we're getting new followers every single day. But shit, it had to have been this was pre-2020, so it had to have been 2018. So this is about 6 years ago. I was working in Missoula, Montana, doing a 24/7 Albertsons back when there was tons of 24/7 stores, and then COVID came and now they're all closing at certain times, which is stupid. But so we were doing a remodel on this Albertsons that never closed. There was always people there. It was just the middle of the fucking night, so it was horrible. Doing night work sucks. I lost weight. I fucking I still can't sleep right, and it was a long ass time ago, but the first couple years after that I could barely sleep right. But when I first started working there, it's in East Missoula. If anybody's from Missoula, you know the Albertsons I'm talking about. But there's a motel literally right next to the parking lot. You can jump over the little wall down into the parking lot of Albertsons, and it's right there. So I was like, fuck it, I'll stay here. I can literally sleep until 5 minutes before work. That lasted about 3 days because this motel was shitty as fuck. We ended up calling it the Thunderturd because it was disgusting. There's crackheads everywhere, probably some murders in that motel, and it was a shitty side of town altogether. So this was back when I still smoked cigarettes, and I was outside. It was nighttime, and I was smoking a cigarette, and this girl just comes up out of fucking nowhere. And she's talking to me, and it's been a long time, so I might remember details and have to go back and forth. So just bear with me. But I was smoking a cigarette, and somehow I ended up starting to talk to this random chick that's just walking around in front of this motel, right in front of the doors. And as I was talking to her, I had my hotel door open a little bit, and she was looking over my shoulder and looking inside of my room and shit. And as we were talking, she's like, oh, do you got anybody in there? I was like, yeah, but he's sleeping. So, got to be quiet. I was staying by myself, but I was just like, this bitch might try to shank me or something. So, yes, there's a witness here if you're trying to murder me. And she's doing that. And then she starts talking about, God, what's she talking about? She's talking about how she was homeless or something, or didn't have money or needed something. And I was like, I'm broke as shit. I'm not giving you any fucking money. I'm obviously staying at the Thunderturd Motel. I don't have money to just be giving out to random bitches walking around in front of the motel. So, she starts talking about how she needs help or something. And she's like, do you have a cell phone? I'm like, yeah, I got a cell phone. And she's like, do you mind texting this is her sister-in-law or sister or cousin or something like that? And I was like, sure, I could do that. So she gave me the phone number, and she's like, can you just, and it was weird because it's just why don't you just, here's my phone, you text her, but she had me type it out for her. She said, can you text my sister and tell her that whatever the fuck her name is in Missoula, and she needs help getting home or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I stupidly went through it, texted it, whatever. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to be right back. Do not leave. Stay right here. I'm going to hang out with you. And I was like, okay, I'll stay right here. As soon as she walked off to go do whatever, I was back into the motel. So I ran inside, shut all the lights off, shut and locked the door, and hoping that she would forget what room I was in. And then I sat there and waited with the blinds open just a little bit. So this chick is walking around up and down looking for me. She's pounding on my door. I don't answer nothing. And so she starts knocking on other people's doors, and they're like, fuck off, I'm trying to sleep. It was I think it was like the night before I started having to work. I don't really remember, but it was like late enough to where it was like you don't need to be knocking on people's fucking doors. So then I start getting annoyed. I'm like, this bitch needs to go. There's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting bad vibes. I don't know what she went to her car or whatever the fuck for. So I called the front desk. I said, hey, you got some bitch out here knocking on doors and keeping people up, and I know that I'm not the only one that's going to be calling you. And he's like, all right, well, I'll call the cops and I'll get rid of her for you. Thanks for calling. I was like, all right, sounds good. So then I went back to the blinds and I'm looking. I'm waiting. Suddenly the cops show up and they're talking to her. And I cracked the window open a little bit so I can hear him a little bit. And they're like, what are you doing here? And she's like, my friend's here in one of these motel rooms. I'm like, why don't you call him? And she's like, well, I don't have his phone number and I don't have a phone. And they're like, okay, what room is he in? And she's like, I don't know. And they're like starting to get suspicious. Like, okay, if it's your friend, like, and you don't know where he is, what his name is, or where he's at, you need to get the fuck out. She's like, no, I'm not leaving. They're like, you need to leave. Let's go. You're loitering. The front desk guy doesn't want you here. You gotta go. She's like, no, I'm not leaving. So then they started being like, all right, give us what's your name? What's your license? This and that. Like, starting to look like they're going to arrest her. And then suddenly her tune changes and she's like, am I being detained? Can I leave? And they're like, no, you can't. And she's like, I want to leave. And they're like, no, we gave you that chance a bunch of times. You wouldn't leave. Now you're trespassing. And that's why you're being detained. You cannot leave. And she's like, I didn't do anything wrong. And, all this shit. Trying to pull that shit off of like YouTube videos where people are like, am I being detained? And I'm leaving, But she did it like so terribly. So finally the cops arrest her. And I'm sure they just like took her off the property and dropped her off somewhere else or something. I don't know what the fuck happened. But I was like, all right, thank God I can finally sleep. So the next day I get a text back, or I text the phone number, or no, fuck, I don't remember. I think the cousin or the sister, whoever she was, texted me and said, hey, are you still with my sister, cousin, whatever the fuck? And I said, no, not gonna lie. She was kind of freaking me out and she wouldn't leave. So I think somebody called the cops on her. I lied. I was like, somebody called the cops on her and took her off the property. I have no idea what happened. And they're like, okay, good. Do not let her in your hotel room. Don't hang out with her. Don't do anything with her. We haven't talked to her for over a year. Last time we saw her, she threatened to kill our mom with a knife. And then we kicked her out and we haven't seen her since. She's schizophrenic as fuck and she's dangerous. And I was like, holy fucking balls, dude. Next day I checked out of that hotel and never went back to the Thunderturd ever again. It was fucking insane. And that wasn't even like the only thing. There's this big giant native guy that while we were working, he would go check all the handles on our trucks like right in front of us. And he was huge, so none of us were going to stop him. We're just like, make sure the trucks are fucking locked. So there was that guy. Another guy, we were cutting open a pipe underground. And so we blocked off this bathroom because it was like upstream from this pipe. So if you flush the toilet, it's going to go right there in my fucking lap, right in the hole that we dug. So we have it all coned off and shit. And you have to put ridiculous amounts of signage on this shit because people will, like, if you put 15 cones in front of it, they'll literally just like squirm around the cones like, oh, this is inconvenient to get to the bathroom. I don't know why these are here. So we had like cones, we had tape, we had a big sign, all this shit, and a door, and there's a door, and then a hallway, and then the bathroom was right there. And that was like the only thing that customers can go to is that bathroom. So we were able to shut off that door to that whole back area. So somebody's pounding on the fucking door. And I open it and the hole's right in front of the door. And I'm like, what's up? And it's some fucking crackhead, dude. And he's like, I need to use the bathroom, man. I gotta go real bad. And I'm like, it's closed. You can't use the bathroom. He's like, I just gotta go right now. And I explained to him, like, if you go into the bathroom, it's gonna end up in this fucking hall. And he's like, fuck you, man. Piece of shit. So at that point, I was like, shut the fuck up. And I shut the door. And then I hear a bunch of commotion on the other side of the door. I open the door. This dude was just throwing cones at the fucking door, ripped the sign off the door, just throwing a bitch fit. And I was like, go fuck yourself, crackhead bitch. And, shut the door. locked it because, I'm scared. And and I thought that was it, forgot about it, kept working. I went out back in the back alley right behind that, if you go down that hallway, there's another door. It goes outside of the back alley. So I go out there and I got one of those little mini skid steers that you stand on the back of that fit through doorways. And I'm about to jump in it, and it's middle of summer. It hasn't rained. There's, it's middle of the night. I go up to it, and there's just this giant puddle trailing from the skid steer. So I was like, what the fuck? Did I blow a hydraulic line or something like that? I'm looking at it, and then I realized, oh my fucking God. That dude pissed he came all the way around back of the alley and pissed all over the skid steer I was using because I wouldn't let him piss in the toilet so that it would go into the trench that I was working in. So then I absolutely lost my fucking shit, and I instantly ran inside, ran all the way around the giant building I was working in, ran inside, ran all the way around looking for this idiot, and then ran to the front desk, and I said, that fucking crackhead, bald dude, face tattoos, missing teeth? Like, yeah, I remember seeing him. I was like, do not let that motherfucker in. He just pissed all over our shit out back. And it's nasty crackhead piss, just flaming fucking piss. I'm sure the employee was like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, I work in the middle of the night in the shitty Albertsons of Missoula. Like, I could give two fucks. But the rest of the time I worked there, I looked for that motherfucker, waiting for him to come in because I was so goddamn mad. And to clean, and everyone's just laughing and making fun of me, and I'm like exhausted, tired, just pissed off. So I go get a bucket and a bunch of bleach and a bunch of hot water, and I just dump hot bleach water on this thing like 50 times. I'm sure the first 2 times I cleaned it off fine, but the other 39 times was just to clean it out of my head, because it wasn't just pee, it was like crackhead pee. Like, who the fuck knows what was in there, and it was fucking awful. And then what else happened? Oh, we had you get regulars, you get creatures of the fucking night shopping at Albertsons, and that's like the only time they go because they don't like the sun or some shit. There used to be this couple that would come in, and it was like this little short crackhead bitch with like barely any hair. She kind of looked like Golem, kind of. And she was short and scrawny and big, head, and just like little nasty wet. They looked wet all the time for some reason, strands of hair. And then there was this big, giant cross-dresser, tranny something. I don't know what the fuck it was. But it was a dude with like a 5 o'clock shadow, but he'd wear like skirts and dresses and, giant heels that looked like you could hear them screaming for their lives because he was so big. His head was just a big square fucking block. It was kind of like it's pretty much like Shrek. Yeah, because we called him Shrek and Donkey. That's what we nicknamed him. So Shrek was obviously big tranny dude. Donkey was a little crackhead bitch. And it wasn't that bad, except that we decided to have a buddy system, because every time Shrek would come in, he'd like look around the corner and look at us, and then he'd, if you make eye contact with him, he'd go like that, and he'd giggle and run around the corner, like trying to flirt with us, and I was terrified. So we had a buddy system, and I was like, all right, nobody goes anywhere in the store without a partner, because Shrek and Donkey's gonna get you. And it was hilarious, but slightly terrifying. So the only good thing about that whole job site just sucked the whole fucking time. Like, everything we tried to do, we just run into roadblocks and shit. Like, it was right next to the river, so when you cut the concrete open and go to dig it out, there could be a boulder the size of a fucking car, and it's river rock, so you're not chipping through that shit. So you'd have to cut out the concrete even more and literally go around these boulders, because they were so big you couldn't pick them up through the trench that we cut out. And then what else was there? Oh, we had a part where they just built the building. They expanded the building over the parking lot and didn't take out the parking lot part. So it was like concrete and then a little bit of pea gravel and then like that much fucking pavement and then dirt and stone under that. And so the only part that was kind of dope about that job site is that one night Smashing Pumpkins was playing in the Grizzly Stadium right across the river, and it was loud as fuck. It was like in the news for breaking sound ordinance, and they did nothing about it. And so we got to sit there and listen to, we couldn't see them obviously, but we could listen to like live Smashing Pumpkins playing from the stadium, and you could see all the lights, and it was so fucking loud that you couldn't even hear each other across the river in this back alley that we were in. So that was like the only cool part, and the rest of it sucked so fucking bad. It was horrible. So, oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys last time. So as you can see, I half-ass decorated the wall behind me, even though all the paintings are too high and you can't see them. But the special thing is, let me see if I can get this off without fucking up. Oh, it's just hung on there. So these two paintings, I painted myself. So when I got my DUI almost 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit drinking and I'm going to quit doing drugs. And I'm going to get a hobby. I'm going to learn how to paint. So I painted this first. Super fucking sick. I still love the fuck out of this painting. And yeah, it's a rhino beetle. For some reason I was real into painting beetles. So I painted this. Super sick, right? And then I painted this one. And the special thing about the stag beetle I got here is that it's glow-in-the-dark paint. So, only to find out that some of it's glow-in-the-dark and some of it's only black light. So basically I need a black light to be able to see the glow-in-the-dark thing. But pretty cool. Thought that would be fun to share. I haven't painted anything since. It took me like a week and a half to paint both of these, and then I went right back to drinking and doing drugs. So, that's cool. I used to, when I was a little kid, I used to draw all the time because my grandma was like a really good artist, and my mom would always be like, oh, you should be an artist when you grow up, you know, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm drawing, and I remember seeing my drawings from that era, and they look like shit. My mom was just totally gassing me up. It's like those people that go on American Idol and they fucking suck, and they're just like, I don't understand. My parents told me I was the best singer ever. And it's like, your parents lied to you, and I feel bad for you. Your parents fucking suck. Like, if you're one of those people that will just sit there and be like, oh, you're the most beautiful singer in the world, when they suck, you're a piece of shit. You are doing way more harm than good. Especially like, you know, at those parties where usually involves a bonfire, because bonfires just suddenly make everyone feel like they're fucking brilliant and they want to show off. And you'll get the guy that pulls out the guitar and plays it, and it kind of sucks, and he only knows like Free Falling and, you know, Brown Eyed Girl, some shit like that. And then you get that one bitch that starts singing, and it starts out real low, and she's just singing to herself. And then people, you know, she notices that other people start noticing, so she starts singing louder, and then she like fluctuates it and makes it all like crazy, you know, kind of like the national anthem where people like just completely destroy the whole fucking song because they're trying to hit this note and then this note and then this note and carrying a note and, you know, all that bullshit. They start doing that shit, and I hate it because not only does it sound like shit, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, you sound like ass. And I'm like, I'll never be drunk enough to think that sounds good. You're just trying to show off and get compliments. But the people that are worse than that are the ones that go, oh my God, Rebecca, you're such a beautiful singer. Oh my God, you should be on American Idol. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Don't do that to her. She sucks at singing. You guys are drunk, I understand, but still, like, she's not good. And this guy sucks at guitar. He fucks it up all over the place. And whoever the fuck just goes, oops, oh no, I accidentally whipped out a guitar. Like, go fuck yourself. That's dumb as fuck. The only instrument that I'd be like, fuck yeah, bro, fucking rip it, would be like some dude with a banjo that could play it. I've always dreamed of, like, you know, that would be funny as fuck if I just learned how to play the banjo and got like stupid good at it. You could literally walk into any fucking bar, any house party, anything, and nobody would bother you, and everybody would want you, and you'd get all the bitches, and men would just be throwing their daughters and their girlfriends at you like, please, you know, inseminate them, and you know, because you just walk in and you're like bong bong, you know, just jamming, and you stand up on a fucking table and everyone's just like, you know, fucking yeehawing and all that shit. Like the banjo would be dope as fuck. That is the only instrument, and you have to be good at it. But I've only seen like a few banjo players in my life, and none of them were terrible. They were all like really fucking good, or at least they made it sound really fucking good. So I don't know if I can ever get to a point to where I don't have to work 50 hours a fucking week and then do this at the same time. I will personally buy a banjo and learn how to play the fuck out of it, and then just make a fuck ton of videos of me walking into random places, just like plucking people's faces off with a fucking banjo. I think that'd be dope as fuck. So I was thinking like maybe a bagpipe, but that's kind of annoying as fuck and it's super loud, so maybe not that as much. Or maybe like a xylophone, but that's kind of annoying as fuck too. Like a banjo is just like, even like I hate country music. I don't like bluegrass, any of that fucking yeehaw shit. But like if you can play the fucking shit out of a banjo, I don't give a flying fuck. I'll be stomping my boots and clapping my hands and, you know, lassoing shit. I don't fucking know. But I always thought that'd be dope as fuck playing a banjo. But I have another presentation. So these are for the TikTok fans. So, you know, I used to be big on TikTok. Don't do it anymore. Don't care for it. But when I was blowing the fuck up, I'd get random gifts in the mail. Like, one chick sent me baby carrot underwear and some baby carrot Christmas lights. That's a whole other story. I've told that story on here before. That one chick that said I have a baby carrot, she was butthurt that I dumped her ass after 2 weeks. I had one girl from Australia send me a giant box full of like 50 different Australian snacks and candies and shit that were like only Australian. That was probably one of the dopest gifts I ever fucking got. I made like a video series where I would, you know, taste one every other day or something like that. And it was super dope. A lot of them really fucking good. Vegemite, not good. I barely tasted it. And I was like, that is the most foul shit on the planet. This is why America is the best, because we don't eat garbage like that. But then I had a girl make me this. So my name on TikTok, if you guys don't know, was a raccoon's dick. So this is a dick that looks like a raccoon. You see it, like the two little balls, and then it's got its little head, but it's also got like a raccoon tail. Super dope. I think I named it Randall or Randy. So that's that. He's dusty as fuck. He looks like he just got done crying. But it used to be the Christmas tree ornament on the top of my Christmas tree. We'd go up there and we'd strap him to the top of the Christmas tree, and he would bless our whole Christmas, because I'm no longer religious and we don't put Jesus up there, or angels, or whatever the fuck you may say. So I've gotten free sunglasses before. I don't have them with me. That was like a promotional thing. Obviously, I get free knives. I got a free earwax cleaner, which I never used for cleaning earwax. I made one video and they must have hated it because they never contacted me again. It just had a microscopic camera on it. So I'm like looking at zits on my face, because you can connect it to your phone. I was looking at like ingrown hairs. I think I was looking at like the underside of my balls one time. I don't remember. I was probably fucking drunk. Just dumb shit like that. You know, I'd kill a bug and look at it super close, and somehow got lost in the move when I moved here, which sucks. It was like an $80 setup. I got some shooting earmuffs, which sucked. They were like, you could make them for $2 and they were selling them for like 30, and it was just literally just earmuffs. There's nothing special about them at all. I made a ad for a dating website that's for people that don't have kids, which I thought was hilarious, because I don't have kids. I'm not going to have any kids. So I made a couple videos of that, or one video, and got paid like $200. It took like 4 months for it to finally get to me. It was like a Chinese app or something. So all of the emails that I got, I thought it was fake, because all the emails I got were like extremely broken English, and half of it was in like China. It would do like English and then like the Chinese, and then English and then Chinese. It was super fucking weird. And it wasn't like $200. It was like some weird amount because it was like 200 of whatever the fuck their currency is, shillings or yen or whatever the fuck they use. And but the video I thought was pretty funny. I thought it was definitely worth more than $200, but you know, whatever. And then what song is that? There's some song that was super fucking blew the fuck up on TikTok for the longest time. Some country song. I don't remember what it was, but that same guy before that song blew up sent me a song to make a video to, and he paid me $40. And I was like, kind of a shitty song. It was country, so I was like, fuck this, but whatever, $40 is $40. And then 2 months later, he comes out with this song. It blows up. Now he's like a fucking superstar and has millions of followers. And I'm like, bro, remember me? I know I didn't make the coolest video and it wasn't your coolest song, but I was there when you were small and now you're huge. You know, give me more videos to make, my man. Like, now you got more money. You can give me $200 instead of $40. And, you know, I think I messaged him. I was like, hey man, congratulations. I'm glad, you know, it was really good to see a buddy really take off. And, you know, I think at that point he had unfollowed me and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, I was right there. He just gave me the wrong fucking song. So that was pretty dope. What else? There's a couple cool things I had with TikTok before it got shitty. I was friends with Scott D. Henry on there. I had a couple friends that are like famous as fuck on that app. We followed each other and kind of bullshit and commented on each other's shit, but I don't really remember what the other ones' names were. There's that one guy who's like the little Timmy jokes or whatever. Me and him are buddies on there. The leg loss boss, me and him are buddies on there. We actually like talk and text and shit once in a while. I was gonna have him do an interview on here eventually, but I haven't like used TikTok a lot lately, so I don't even know if that's still an option. I haven't talked to him for like a year, but yeah, I don't know. Lots of crazy fucking shit, crazy fucking people. I've told you about those guys, the creeps, the fucking gay dudes throwing their wieners at me. And me politely declining, and then they just throw it right back, you know. And then crazy bitches, obviously, everywhere. But I don't know. TikTok was fun when it was fun, and now it fucking blows. So I'm trying to switch over to YouTube now. I'm trying to do some YouTube shorts. Except I kept catching myself trying to make YouTube shorts that were like Snapchat. And I was like, this isn't Snapchat. The video stays up. You have to do it like a reel, like a TikTok post. But I just don't think like that anymore. When I was doing TikTok all the time, that's how my brain, this is kind of why I quit doing it too. My brain was always like thinking in TikTok videos, you know, like, oh, this would be a funny TikTok video. Oh, that's an idea. I can make a TikTok video, you know, shit like that. And now I don't think like that anymore. I finally got out of my system. I'm not constantly looking at the world through a TikTok lens. So I don't really know any good shorts to put up. My brain doesn't work that way. Now my brain works in, oh, that would be cool on the podcast. I'll remember to write that down later, and then I just fucking forget. So, let's see what we got here. I thought I had something else. I literally just like open this thing up and randomly write on random fucking pages all the time. It's so dumb. I guess that's the only thing I fucking wrote down. But, oh yeah. I didn't talk about this. So after Matt's interview / guest spot, it's not really an interview because I'm not asking him that much. We're just kind of bullshitting. So having Matt as a guest, we got fucked up, dude. Like, at the beginning of that video, it was when we first had our first beers, and it was that big styrofoam cup, and 2 Tecate beers in it, and then like a shot or 2 of tequila on top of that, and I went through that twice. So that was 4 beers and like 2 or 3 shots, and then I drank 2 more beers after that before we left, plus another 2 or 3 shots of tequila. And I hate tequila. It makes me sick as fuck. It gets me drunk as fuck. But whenever it's offered to me, I'm like, yeah, I love tequila, because I don't want to look like a bitch and be like, no, that shit makes me sick. So I was just, because I told Matt the next day, I was like, yeah, because I ended up throwing up later for the first time in a while. he's like, what the fuck, man? I was like, yeah, every time I drink tequila, I throw up. And he's like, then why the fuck did you let me put tequila in your beer? And I was like, because I didn't want you to think I was a loser. And he's like, you're so stupid. And I was like, I know, sorry. So we got drunk. His wife drove us to the Zanies, the comedy club. And I was fucking hammered, decided to order more beer while I was there and some mozzarella sticks that sucked. So if you ever go to Zanies, don't ever get the food there. It fucking blows. You know, mozzarella sticks, the best is like when they're stringy and you have to like, oh no, it's like getting everywhere. No, these were just like eating a cold cheese stick with crust around it. It was like eating a fucking bug or something. So those sucked. And then the comedians were probably funny, but I didn't know because I was fucking wasted and I was still drinking beer. And I was just waiting for the headliner. And in our seats were like, so you guys are where the performer is. There's a wall. Let me find something. I don't know. But there's bathrooms over here and then the stage is here. So there's a wall from here over that I'm like kind of leaning around trying to see who's up on stage, and I'm wasted and I'm on a hard wooden stool. So I'm like trying not to fall out of my stool. My ass and my back hurts because I have no butt and it's a hard wooden stool. And then after being there for like 20 minutes, this other couple comes and they seat you at your table if there's seats. So there's also an old dude like directly in front of me. Like, I could not see anybody on stage unless I went like that or like that. And I couldn't ask him to move because he would have blocked Matt or Matt's wife. So it was like sick. I get to stare at this balding dude with a comb over while I'm shit-faced on this hard wooden stool eating these shitty mozzarella sticks for what felt like 4 hours. So, and then finally the headliner gets up there. Preacher Lawson or Preacher something gets up there. And previously, I saw him on Zanies and I said, oh, this guy's funny. We should go see him. So Matt and his wife never heard of him. So we looked up a couple YouTube videos and he was on America's Got Talent. So we watched it. Like, he got all the way to the finals. He might've won. I don't know. So we watched his like 3 or 4 performances on America's Got Talent. And like, hell yeah, funny as fuck. Let's buy tickets. $35. So we get there and his first joke is literally the first joke he told on America's Got Talent. And it was a hilarious joke, but it was just like, Jesus fuck, man. Like, you're still using that old shit from 6 fucking years ago. Especially, like, if I'm a comedian, famous as fuck, I'm going to go do stand-up. I'm going to Google my name, and whatever's in the first 10 videos, those jokes are not going. Throw them out. They're old. You use the jokes for a year, you get done with them, you throw them away. New content, you know? Keep doing new shit. So I was wasted, so I was extra critical, and I was like, fuck this guy. Like, if I wasn't so like, I'm about to throw up drunk and more like rowdy drunk, I probably would have been like, get something new, fucker, you know? But luckily for everybody in there, I was too wasted to even say anything, so I was like, fuck this. So I just started falling asleep on the table like a fucking plebe. And then Matt and his wife were like, you okay? And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna puke. I'm tired as fuck. And they're like, you want to leave? And I was like, if you guys want to. And they're like, yeah, let's go. So we go to leave. And they just dart out the door. They're like, fuck this food. I don't want to pay for it. So they dart out the door. And I'm following after them. And I get stopped at the door because I have my cell phone in one of those bags that you can't open. And they have to unlock it for you. And I was like, hey, can you get my phone out? And they're like, yeah, did you pay for your food and shit? I was like, stupid, you know, like playing dumb, like, didn't my friends pay for it? And they're like, no, they just walked out the door. I was like, oh shit, well, I'll get it. And I'm like, motherfuckers, like, you leave me here to pay for this fucking tab. They ended up paying me back, but, you know, embarrassing. Got caught at the door trying to fucking steal shitty food and beer. So got out of there, drove off. I'm getting sick as fuck in the back of this car. And so I'm like, I'm gonna lay down, try to like close my eyes a little bit, try to recenter myself. I'll be fine. You know, it makes it way worse because she's like bobbing through traffic and stopping and going and shit. So I'm getting car sick. And I'm like, I sit up and I'm just like, stick my head in between the 2 seats and I'm like, I don't feel good. And Matt's like, are you gonna throw up? I was like, yeah, Can you pull over? I gotta throw up. I've never puked in anybody's car. I've never puked on the floor, in the bed, nothing. I am the best puker ever. So, they pull over. I open the door to throw up these nasty mozzarella sticks and tequila and beer. And I look up and there's a homeless guy 5 feet away from me sitting there with a cardboard sign. And I just throw up right in front of him. And he just like looks away and he's shaking his head. And I was like, man, that fucking sucks, bro. Like now you gotta relocate or you gotta sit there and look at that shit on the road. My bad, bro. And it was super embarrassing. Fucking sucked. And then laid down and fell asleep. But yeah, pretty crazy night. It's probably the most drunk I've gotten in a while. It's not really the most drunk I ever got. It's the tequila. The tequila fucked me up. I hate fucking tequila. It is so bad, but I never ever turn it down because I don't want to sound like a bitch, which is dumb because no one's going to be like, you're a bitch for not drinking alcohol that makes you puke, but I'm, alpha dog. I'm trying to be alpha dog, skinny boy alpha dog. So, yeah, super fun night, but we are at 40 minutes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hopefully this video comes out right the first fucking time. I almost want to post it early, but I'm going to wait because I don't want to overdo myself like I did before. So I'll make sure it's perfect. I'll run it through, make sure the sound's perfect, make sure the editing is perfect. I got like 3 days to edit it before it comes out on Friday. So super excited. It's going to be great. I like how I moved the camera a little closer. Still trying to figure out camera stuff. I got in my wish list a better tripod for the camera. It's literally just sitting on a bar stool right now. I'm looking at a boom for the mic so I can stick it to the table and have a mic right here, set it right here so it's a little closer to my face. You can hear me better. It's not as echoey. What else am I getting? I'm going to get some stage lights. Not stage lights, but just like some lights so it's a little more professional looking, I guess. And then Matt said that he is willing to buy his own mic, his own boom arm, and all that shit so that we can both have our own microphones and it's not as echoey and doesn't sound like we're in an echo chamber like we did the last episode. And it's going to get better and better. So super excited. Also, I had someone email me and ask me if I would like a gift to decorate for my studio / my fat cat's bedroom. And I would love it. So, obviously, if you got some, like, fucking spam account, I'm not going to give you my fucking address, but if I can look at your account, make sure you're not a fucking psycho, and that you don't live anywhere near me, so you're not going to show up at my front door with a machete or a shotgun, I'll slip you the address, and you can send me some gifts. I'll give you a big fat shout-out, and, speaking of shout-outs, let's thank Lane again for the camera. Thank you, Lane. So excited about the camera. This makes it so much more fun to shoot podcasts. So thank you so much, little buddy. He'll be here in November, so we'll definitely get a couple interviews out of him. Probably a exclusive episode as well. We'll probably get fucked up on something and make some funny episodes. But if you want to send gifts to decorate on the wall or on the table or, anything for the podcast, I would absolutely love that and be eternally grateful. So... like I said before, you can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, Cockles of the Heart. Email me at cocklespodcast@gmail.com or comment under any of the videos. If you got my TikTok page, you can message me on there for questions, whatever you want. I really want to hear from you guys. I've gotten a couple good ones, but, I haven't gotten one in a while. I check my spam folder and shit, so... yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a great fucking week, and I will see you on the next episode. Boom.